All was ready for King Janaka's great sacrifice, and to Mithila had come rishis and brahmins from many kingdoms. Viswamitra and the two princes were welcomed with high honor. Janaka's own preceptor, the sage Satananda, was the first to pay his respects to Viswamitra, and the king himself followed close behind. I am truly blessed that you have come to my sacrifice, said Janaka to the great sage. Then his eyes fell upon Rama and Lakshman, and he marveled. Who are these godlike youths, so alike, who bear their weapons with a seasoned warrior's ease? What happy father can claim such sons as these? Viswamitra told the king that these were the sons of Dasaratha, and how they had guarded his sacrifice and destroyed the fearsome Rakshasas. They have come, he added, hoping to behold the great bow of Rudra that rests in your palace. At those words, a knowing joy kindled in Janaka's heart. The prince is most welcome to see the bow, said Janaka, and if he can but string it, he shall win the hand of my daughter Sita. Many mighty princes have looked upon it and gone home defeated, unable even to stir it. Happy shall I be if this youth succeeds where all others have failed. Somewhere within the palace, the princess Sita heard that the sons of Dasaratha had come. When word reached her of the calm and radiant youth who had freed a forest of its demons, a quiet hope stirred in her gentle heart, though she dared not yet believe that fate could be so kind. Then Janaka commanded that the bow be brought. It was a sacred and terrible thing, kept safe in a great iron chest. So heavy was it that it rested upon an 8-wheeled carriage, and it took many strong men to drag it forth, hauling it into the hall like a temple chariot in a festival procession. Here, said Janaka, is the bow of Rudra, worshipped by me and by all my ancestors before me. Let the prince come and look upon it. A hush fell over the great assembly. Every eye turned toward Rama, and the whole court held its breath in wishful, wondering expectation. With the permission of both Viswamitra and the king, Rama stepped forward toward the iron bouquets, calm and unhurried. He walked into the center of the great hall, while thousands of eyes followed his every step. Sita too watched from among the women, her heart beating hard with silent, fervent prayer. Rama reached into the chest and lifted the mighty bow as easily as if it were a garland of flowers. A gasp ran through the assembly. Where the strongest kings had failed even to move it, the young prince raised it with effortless grace, cradling the sacred weapon lightly in his hands. Then, resting one end of the great bow against his toe, Rama bent it with ease and slipped the string into place. The whole court leaned forward, breathless, what no other hand had managed in generations. The prince accomplished in a single, graceful, unhurried motion, as though it were the simplest thing in the world. Then Rama drew the string back with irresistible force, and the mighty bow, unbendable for ages, could not withstand him. With a crack like a thunderclap, the great weapon of Rudra snapped in two. The sound rolled through Mithila like the roar of the heavens, and every heart leapt at the wonder of it. As the echo of the breaking bow faded, a shower of fragrant flowers rained down from the heavens upon the assembly. The gods themselves rejoiced at what had come to pass, rising above the wonder of the crowd. King Janaka proclaimed with joy, "My beloved daughter shall be wedded to this prince." Among the women, Sita's face bloomed with a joy she could no longer hide. The very prince her heart had hoped for had won her hand before all the world. Her eyes met Rama's for a fleeting moment across the crowded hall. And in that glance, past a love that felt older than time itself. Viswamitra turned to Janaka. "Send your swiftest messengers to Ayodhya," he said, "to carry this happy news to King Dasaratha and to invite him hither." At once the king dispatched his fleetest riders, and they set off in haste along the northern road to bear the joyful tidings to the waiting father. In 3 swift days the messengers reached Ayodhya, where King Dasaratha sat enthroned in splendor, like Indra among the gods. Bowing low, they said, "Great king, the sage Viswamitra and King Janaka send you joyful news. Your son, who journeyed to Mithila, has won the princess Sita's hand. He strung the bow of Rudra," they went on, "which none before him could so much as lift, and drew it until its tough pride broke. King Janaka awaits your gracious consent and your presence and blessing at the wedding. May it please you to set out for Mithila with your royal retinue." Dasaratha, who had sent Rama away with a heart still shadowed by worry, was flooded now with pure delight. The son he had feared to lose had triumphed and won a bride. Overjoyed, he ordered his ministers to prepare at once for the journey, and the very next day set out for Janaka's capital with a grand and joyful retinue. King Dasaratha travelled to Mithila and was received with enthusiastic welcome. When the courtesies were done, Janaka said to him, "My sacrifice will soon be complete. I think it best that the marriage be held as soon as the rite is over." And Dasaratha gladly agreed. "You are the father of the bride," Dasaratha replied graciously, "and it is for you to order all things as you wish." So the two royal houses made ready for the wedding, and all Mithila was swept up in festival, its streets hung with garlands, its temples ringing, its people rejoicing at the union to come. As the sacrifice ended, preparations for the marriage rose to their height. The wedding pavilion was raised and adorned, sacred fires were kindled, and priests chanted the ancient verses. Sita was arrayed as a bride, radiant beyond words, while Rama stood noble and serene, the very image of a divine bridegroom. At the appointed sacred hour, King Janaka took his daughter's hand to give her away. His heart brimmed with love and a father's tender sorrow at the parting, yet also with deep joy, for he was placing his beloved Sita into the keeping of the finest and noblest of men. "Here is my daughter Sita," Janaka said to Rama, "who will ever tread with you the path of dharma. Take her hand in yours, devoted and blessed. She will walk beside you always, faithful as your own shadow, sharing every step of your life through joy and sorrow alike." And he placed her hand in Rama's. The priests chanted the ancient verse of giving, the same sacred words spoken at weddings to this day. Round the holy fire the bride and groom took their steps, hand in hand, binding their lives together before gods and men. The flames rose bright as their vows were sealed for all their days. So was Sita given by Janaka to Rama, and the two stood wedded at last before the sacred fire. Flowers rained again from the sky, conches sounded, and all the world seemed to rejoice. In the glow of the flames, the divine pair shone with a beauty and a ripeness that words could scarcely hold. Were they not eternal lovers, reunited once more? For Rama was Vishnu come to earth, and Sita was Lakshmi, his consort through all the ages. Parted long across the turning of the worlds, they had found each other again. And so they rejoiced, like lovers meeting after a long, long separation. Thus Rama won Sita in the court of Mithila, and two great houses were joined in joy. Yet none who celebrated that day could foresee the long road of trials that lay ahead for the newly wedded pair. For now, there was only happiness, the bright, unclouded happiness of love newly begun.